What's up, YouTube? How are you guys doing today? Live. Um, so I kind of wanted to just talk shop with you guys today. I was gonna pull out a few animals, but I kind of wanted to talk about something. Something's kind of weighed on my mind. So I guess with any venture, um, you're going to, at least for me anyway, um, you know where you're at, like what your motives are, and you're going to. For me, I put my heart and soul into whatever it is I'm doing. Um, Dude, I really don't like that glitter. Hold on. All right, that's better. Sorry, I'm moving some chairs around. So yeah, so where was I? Um, so with any venture, for me, I I I put everything into it, um, and I try to I try to do it in a way that does not come off as egotistical, or um, I try to do it in a way that shows to the people that are listening or watching that, you know, I don't really consider myself an expert by any means, but I'm just doing it the best way I know how, with the resources I have at my disposal, and in a way that kind of represents me as a person, or in this instance, a reptile keeper. And that's really the the way I have approached the YouTube channel, is for me to do it in a way that I really feel like is the best representation of me, not only as a person but as a reptile keeper and breeder, and it's in a way that I think would be interesting. And so um, that kind of goes into another point, and um, that's that I really don't. There's a lot of people that you communicate with in the reptile hobby that you have communicated with for a long time, and you consider them friends. And I just want to put it out there that just because you guys are communicating on the level of keeping reptiles doesn't mean that you actually know the person. I had a little bit of a misunderstanding with someone that I consider to be a good friend in the hobby this week, and something that I said that was just taken out of context, um, and the individual just totally went off the page and started throwing jabs, and um, it kind of just reminded me that, like, I didn't really know him as well as I thought. And even though we talk reptiles all the time, and we goof off and we just talk about our snakes on a pretty frequent occasion, it just showed me that I didn't really know them, because I guess that's when the true colors came out, and a lot of things that were said were just pretty offensive. And I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is because A, it's on my mind. I didn't sleep well last night. It's been on my mind a while. And B, I just think that regardless of what someone's opinions are, there's more than one way to skin the cat, so to speak. There's a lot of different ways to accomplish the same goal. And because someone doesn't necessarily agree with you, or maybe they don't go with the method that you think is the best is not a reason to say necessarily that they're wrong or that they shouldn't be keeping their animals because they're not keeping them as well as you, um, or any of that. It just basically boils down to preference. And a lot of times that preference can be influenced by financial resources, could be influenced by like your home and how insulated it is, or you know, your location where you're living. All these things factor into the reason and the ways that people keep their collections. And you know, at the end of the day, we still need to act like adults, and we still need to conduct ourselves like adults. And if something is not the way that you see it, maybe instead of getting offended, you should just ask. And if you're going to call somebody out and they are genuinely confused about why you're calling them out, man up and talk to them about it. Don't just, give them your 2 cents and then peace out. Because to me, that's just kind of a coward's way of debate, or of just communicating in general. So anyway, that's my soapbox. So I've been in a little bit of a somber mood this morning. So how are you guys doing today? It's early, and I'm thinking that from now on, I'm going to start moving the YouTube live episodes on Sunday to Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon. I'm thinking probably around 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that's where I'm going to go with it. And let me read these. Hey, what's up? Yeah, so I just I wanted to just to chat with you guys for a few minutes. Today's not going to be a very long episode, live chat. I don't really, to be perfectly honest, I'm just not in a mood to rap with you guys for a long time, and that's nothing against you guys. I'm tired, haven't slept well, and not feeling the greatest. So did want to pull out a couple animals though for you guys, some Brazilian Rainbow Boas. So I'm gonna grab them real fast. Hang tight, I'm coming right back. So, told you I'd be fast. So since it is a little chilly, I didn't want to leave these guys out here, but I wanted to pull them out. Well, first of all, maybe I can do this. So that's a male and female, and I've had this girl out plenty of times, but she's starting to put on some size, and she just shed, and so I figured I'd take her out. And let me close this because the male's starting to get curious. So this is the female, and they're pretty placid animals. Brazilian Rainbow Boas are really cool. They're in a lot of people's collections. A lot of people have them, but look at that pattern. That's just beautiful to me. I kind of have a soft spot for Brazilian Rainbow Boas because I lived in Brazil for 2 years, and I actually kept Brazilian Rainbow Boas when I first got into reptiles. I kept them years ago. It was back in 2004. I had a really nice pair that I sold because I got out of reptiles for a short time, and I always regretted it. I was so bummed that I sold that pair. And so there was a friend of mine who had a really nice pair here locally, so I grabbed these from him, and I've bought another pair from another well-known breeder as well. So I'm hoping so I've got some really nice red, genetically, I guess, gosh, I can't talk this morning. Line bred, red stuff. I'm hoping to get into some hypos and a few other things. And I'm not trying to be like the who's who with Brazilian Rainbow Boas. I just really like them, and if I could get 3 or 4 pairs, that would be pretty awesome. So that's where my head's at with these guys. But she's just a super cool animal. I got her kind of sitting here, so I just thought I'd, you know, show you guys. Very, very cool, very placid. Awesome feeding response. Dude, these things lunge out of the cage to get their meals. But you can go right in with your hand and just grab them. And they don't, at least mine, don't strike at me at all. Hey, Sweden, thanks, man. Let's see where. Nope. Don't, oh, cool. Nice, man. Yeah, I love them. They're just one of my favorite species. As far as terrestrial species go for boas, I'm assuming you're talking about Brazilian rainbows. They are probably one of my favorite species of terrestrial boa. Very easy to keep. They don't tolerate really warm temperatures. So these guys live in marshes and wetlands, high humidity, down in the jungle. And so you don't want to treat these guys like maybe an Australian python or anything like that, because they're not dealing with the harsh heat that you see with some of the other species. So these guys, you give them a basking spot, and they'll use it to digest their meals or to gestate babies. But for the most part, you know, you keep your ambience 78, 80 degrees, they'll do really well. And they do need humidity. So that's one thing you have to be really careful about, is the cage getting too dry. There's got to be a place that's pretty wet where they can go in and out of. So that be a hide box that's a humid hide, or that just be a portion of the cage like the way I have mine set up, that stays pretty damp, and then the rest of the cage is dry so they can go in and out of it. The other thing is they need fresh water. You let these guys' water bowls dry out, or you know, they don't have access to water for very long, and they will not do well. So they need to have access to fresh water, and they need to be able to soak in it if they want, because they will. I mean, they are a humid species. They do live in very wet environment, and they're going to use that water bowl. So something that's small, like for like a python or a boa or something like that, would not do well with these guys, because you want it to be large enough for them to actually submerge themselves inside of it. So anyway, this is the female. I'm going to take out the male. He's a little bit smaller. These guys are actually siblings, but I don't feed my males that heavy, so he's smaller, but still very, very pretty. Their head markings are a little bit different, but I love these guys. I have 2 pairs. I'm hoping to get a 3rd pair this year, and I'd like to get a hypo and a hypo male and a het hypo female, and to complete the group, at least for the time being. So I don't know, thinking about going to Dave Coling. He's got some really pretty animals. I've done an episode on his stuff, and he's kind of close to me in San Jose, so I may snag some from him. My battery's telling me that it's low. So let me put these guys inside, because it is a little chilly. Cool, so that's kind of what I wanted to do today, is just take out a couple animals and chat with you guys. What would you guys like to see on the podcast, on the YouTube channel? You know, what do you guys want me to do? I will tell you guys, we've got some fun episodes coming up. I've got one that is an exclusive Patreon episode that I'm going to be posting to the Patreon page. And I've got one that is going to be on pancake tortoises from Ryan Wallison. We filmed 3 episodes while at his place a couple weeks ago. So I've got, or I'm sorry, just last weekend. So we put the first one out this week, which was for satanic leaf-tailed geckos because he had some really pretty ones. Then we've got one for his pancake tortoises, which I've never done an episode on tortoises, so I was kind of excited about this one. He just has a pair of them, but they produce for him every year, and he actually has a baby, so that he held back. So I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about his pancakes and to talk about and show you guys the adults and the babies. So we've got that one coming out next, and then after that we have the mother load episode, the one on all of his emerald tree boas. We've got a little basin love in that video, and we've got some northerns, lots of northerns that we're bringing out in that video. So it's going to be fun, and I'm really excited to bring it to you guys. Also got an episode coming up on green tree pythons. I'm going to head back over to Eddie Appel's place, and we're going to, he had a recent clutch. It was a small clutch, but I'm going to show you guys babies versus adults, and we're going to talk a little bit about that pairing and the bloodline. They are designer chondros, but they're very, very pretty, and that would be fun. Also got an episode coming up with another breeder here in town who he's opening up a reptile store, and they're just finishing the interior layout, building cages and all that stuff on the inside. So once that gets completed, I'm hoping he will let us do a little bit of a walkthrough before it actually opens so that we can film in there. Should be a lot of fun. Yeah, you know, a few things that have been on my mind as far as the collection goes is I've wanted to add a male granite Irian carpet python, which I've kind of keeping an eye on who has eggs cooking right now. I'd like to add, as I stated, a pair of rainbows, a hypo and a het hypo female. And Amazon tree boas I'm pretty much done with. I don't really need anything to add to the collection on those. I do want to get some emerald tree boas, and wink wink, I might have just put a deposit down on a baby. I'm not gonna say, but it's probable. And the other thing that I'm really excited about is I'm wanting to get a trio of Greek tortoises, some babies, and I already know who I want to get them from, so I'm hoping I can do that this year. And the other goal is I'd really like to get some Ridley eyes, some cave-dwelling rat snakes. I've had them in the past, and they can be a little cantankerous, but they're very, very cool, very unique. Their color is just outstanding to me, and they're one of my favorite colubrid species. So I'm gonna try and score those. So I guess the short term is there might be something from any of those groups that I just named that I'll be adding to the collection this year. Time will tell, you know, as finances kind of open up or don't open up, or, you know, sometimes eggs that I'm anticipating hatching don't hatch. That's what happened a couple years ago. I was trying to get some yellowtail crebos. I was on a wait list for the clutch, and the clutch didn't hatch. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good morning. It's Sunday, you know. Some of you may be starting your weekend. Some of you may be working. Some of you may be like me, you know, you're on the tail end of your weekend. Enjoy your day. Spend some time with your animals. And post some stuff in the comments. Let me know what you guys want to see. You know, if you've got any questions, hit me up. I'm an open book, so just shoot. And I'm going to be moving this to a later time. I feel like the times I've done it in the afternoon or the evenings, I've gotten more participation from everybody. So I'm wondering if people are still sleeping. I don't know. I figured that, 9 o'clock on the West Coast is 3 hours ahead of us on the East Coast, and then there's folks in Europe that it's the evening time for them. So I figured I'd get a little more participation, but I've done 2 or 3 episodes in the evening time, and it's been kind of tough to get folks to comment. So anyway, remember, got an episode coming out Friday, and we'll be coming at you live again next Sunday. But we're gonna try and do it around 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in the evening, and I will definitely let you guys know later this week how that's gonna go. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, hit me up on. You can reach me through my website. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit like, and make sure you comment. If you've got something to say it. All right, guys. Take care. You've been watching Godbold Exotics, and I'll talk to you guys soon.